Let's talk about the aperture. It's like a bouncer for light. It controls how much light comes through your lens on the sensor. It works like a human eye. The pupil is smaller when there is a lot of light, and the pupils are wide open when there is a low light situation. The aperture is one of 3 settings in which you can control your image's brightness or darkness. The other 2 settings are ISO and shutter speed, which we'll look closer at in another video. An open aperture is shown with a lower number, like f1.4. This lets a lot of light into the sensor and gives you a brighter picture. A closed aperture has a higher number, like f16 or f22, which blocks most of the light that comes through your lens, which results in a darker picture. Fast zoom lenses are mostly f2.8, which is okay for low light. But if you want a better performance at low light, you should go for a 1.8, 1.4 or even 1.2 lens, which is probably a prime lens. These kinds of apertures are only possible to achieve on prime lenses and are relatively expensive. How you can change the aperture is different from camera to camera. On some lenses you can change it directly on a separate ring, with or without clicks. Also, cine lenses offer this kind of ring on the lens to change the aperture, but without clicks, to change the brightness more seamlessly. This is very helpful when you go from a bright to a dark or from a dark to a bright place. The aperture controls not only how many light comes through your lens on the sensor, it's also affecting the depth of field. That means if your aperture is open, like a f1.2, you will get a very small depth of field. This creates a lot of separation and blur and makes it more difficult to focus manually. Without the focus, this isn't a big problem. If you close your aperture, this creates a deeper or also higher depth of field, which makes it easier to focus manually. So you don't have much separation and only little to no blur. There is more in focus from your background or foreground. This way you can show more from an environment of a scene. In cinematography, this is also used a lot to show the inner world from an actor with a lot of separation and the external world from a character with no separation. You can also use it to show an internal or external conflict. So you can creatively choose if you want to isolate your subject or show the surroundings, whatever matches the story the best. I think you already hear it from bokeh. This gets influenced by the aperture and the focal length. The more open the aperture is, the more and bigger bokeh balls you will see in the blurry part of your image. The more the aperture is closed, the smaller bokeh balls you will get in the footage. The last point that the aperture also controls is the behavior of light sources, if they are soft and fading out in your image, or if it creates some light stars. Light stars happen only when you close the aperture. They disappear when you open the aperture, creating a soft fading out effect on every light sources. But now, why does it call f-stop? What's behind this? This is calculated when you take a 200mm, like in this example, divide the 200 through the diameter of the entrance pupil size of the aperture, but magnified through the front lens element. For this lens, this is 69mm, so you receive a number of 2.89, which means this lens is f2.8. This isn't the most exact or accurate way to measure light that comes effectively through your lens on the sensor. When you change a lens with the same f2.8 aperture but a different focal length, the exposure may not stay exactly the same. Exactly because of that reason, our cine lens is measured with another method. This method measures how much light comes out from the end of the lens. So this way every measurement is exactly the same. This is called t-stop and not f-stop. But how this exactly works you will see later in the course. Now you know more about how to use the aperture to create unique looks in your pictures. The first way to learn this in real life is to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel to get more videos like that, and after that go out and shoot something with your new knowledge. Then only routine makes you better. Let's create.